What if the Iraqi dinar is quietly moving into a trial exchange phase right now? Could this be the final step before a major currency shift? And more importantly, what does this mean for you as an investor? These are the questions many people are asking today, and in this update, we're going to break everything down in a clear and realistic way so you can understand what's really happening without the hype or confusion. Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Brief, your trusted source for simple, clear, and reliable updates on the Iraqi currency, Forex trends, and the overall Iraqi economy. If you are holding Iraqi dinar or closely following its future, then this topic is very important for you. Today, we are discussing the idea of a trial exchange phase, a phrase that is getting a lot of attention online. Some sources claim that banks are already testing exchange systems behind the scenes and that this could be the final step before a revaluation, often called an RV. But before jumping to conclusions, it's important to separate facts from speculation. Let's first understand what a trial exchange phase actually means. In simple terms, this refers to the idea that banks or financial institutions may be running internal tests. These tests could involve processing transactions, checking new banking software, ensuring compliance with international rules, or training staff to handle increased demand in the future. The key point here is that testing is a normal part of banking operations. Banks all over the world regularly test their systems whenever they upgrade technology or prepare for changes. So even if testing is happening, it does not automatically mean that a revaluation is about to occur. Now let's look at Iraq's economic situation. Over the past few years, Iraq has been making steady progress in improving its financial system. The country has been working on strengthening its banking sector, increasing the use of digital payments, reducing reliance on cash, and improving transparency in currency movement. The central bank has also taken steps to stabilize the exchange rate and control inflation. These are positive signs, and they show that Iraq is moving in the right direction. However, these improvements are part of a long-term reform process, not a sudden overnight change. Another important point to consider is how currencies actually gain value. Many investors hope for a sudden jump in the Iraqi dinar's value. But in reality, strong currencies are backed by strong economies. This includes consistent economic growth, political stability, increased foreign investment, and diversified income sources beyond oil. Iraq is still developing in many of these areas. While there is progress, there are also ongoing challenges such as political uncertainty, infrastructure rebuilding, and reliance on oil exports. Because of this, any major currency shift would likely happen gradually over time, rather than all at once. Now let's address the rumors directly. Some online claims suggest that secret exchanges are already taking place, or that select groups are being invited to exchange their currency at special rates. Others say that banks are quietly preparing for a major global reset. However, there is no official confirmation from recognized financial institutions or government authorities to support these claims. In global finance, something as big as a hidden exchange program would be extremely difficult to keep secret. If such a major change were happening, there would likely be clear signals and official announcements. So why do these rumors keep spreading? One reason is that there is strong interest and hope among investors. Another reason is that normal banking activities like system upgrades are sometimes misunderstood as signs of something bigger. Social media also plays a role, where information spreads quickly without proper verification. As a result, speculation often grows faster than facts. That's why it's important to stay focused on reliable indicators instead of unverified claims. Instead of following rumors, investors should watch real economic signals. These include Iraq's economic growth, improvements in banking infrastructure, stability of the exchange rate, foreign investment levels, and consistent government reforms. These factors provide a clearer picture of where the currency might be heading in the future. Real progress in these areas is what supports long-term currency strength. When it comes to the idea of a final step, it's important to understand that major financial changes rarely happen in a single moment. They usually occur in stages. First comes stabilization, then reform, followed by growth, and finally, gradual adjustments in value. Even if a testing phase exists, it would likely be just one part of a longer process, rather than an immediate trigger for a major revaluation. So what does all of this mean for you as an investor? First, it's important To stay realistic and avoid making decisions based on excitement alone. Second, understand that currency changes take time, especially in developing economies. Third, always question the source of any major claim and look for official confirmation. If there is no verified evidence, it's best to be cautious. Finally, focus on a long-term strategy rather than expecting quick results. The idea of a sudden and dramatic revaluation may sound appealing, but real-world finance usually works in a more controlled and gradual way. That doesn't mean there is no potential in the Iraqi dinar. It simply means that expectations should be based on facts, not speculation. Right now, what we are seeing is steady reform and gradual progress, not a confirmed final step before an RV. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Iraqi Dinar Brief, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe the trial exchange phase is real, or do you think it's just another rumor? Let's discuss it together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update. As we continue this discussion, it's also important to look at how global financial systems interact with currencies like the Iraqi dinar. Iraq does not operate in isolation. Its currency value is influenced by international trade, oil prices, and relationships with global financial institutions. For example, when oil prices rise, Iraq's revenue increases, which can support economic stability. However, when global markets become unstable, it can slow down progress. This is why major currency changes require coordination not just within Iraq, but also alignment with international financial standards and partners. Another key area to watch is the modernization of Iraq's banking infrastructure. In recent years, there has been a strong push toward digital banking, electronic payments, and improved financial transparency. These steps are essential because they build trust with international investors and financial institutions. A modern banking system also makes it easier to track transactions, reduce corruption, and improve efficiency. If a country wants its currency to gain strength, it must first build a reliable financial system. So, these developments are meaningful, but again, they represent preparation and progress, not an instant trigger for a revaluation. We should also consider the role of monetary policy. The Central Bank of Iraq carefully manages the exchange rate to maintain stability. Sudden, large increases in currency value can actually harm an economy if they are not supported by real growth. For example, exports could become more expensive, and local businesses could struggle to compete. That's why central banks usually move slowly and cautiously. Stability is often more important than speed. This is another reason why expectations of a rapid overnight RV should be viewed with caution. There is also the psychological side of investing. When people hear repeated claims about a final step or any day now, it creates urgency and excitement. This can lead to emotional decisions rather than logical ones. Smart investors take a step back and focus on verified information. They understand that real opportunities are built on patience, not pressure. If something sounds too certain or too fast, it's worth questioning. Financial markets are complex, and major shifts rarely happen without clear warning signs. Looking ahead, the future of the Iraqi dinar will likely depend on continued reform, economic diversification, and political stability. If Iraq successfully reduces its reliance on oil and expands other sectors like agriculture, industry, and services, it can create a stronger economic foundation. Over time, this could support a more valuable and stable currency. But again, this is a long-term path, not a sudden event. In summary, the idea of a trial exchange phase may sound exciting, but without official confirmation, it remains speculation. What we do know is that Iraq is moving forward with reforms and improvements. These are real and important developments. However, they should be seen as steps in a gradual journey rather than signals of an immediate revaluation. For investors, the best approach is to stay informed, stay patient, and focus on facts rather than rumors.